Okay, great. Lovely. So before we delve into the training, just a few things to note. First, I hope we have all followed the setup instructions that were sent out in a prior email and have prepared our necessary tools and software to begin. That's Google Sheets, Excel, Microsoft Power, BI or BI, however you pronounce it, ChatGPT, Leonardo, all of these that were included in the email. And secondly, feel free to ask your questions at during the training by raising your hand so you can be chosen to speak, or you can make use of the chat as well, or otherwise use the Slido link or scan the Slido QR code that will be provided by the Eloquent Data team. There will also be a time at the end of the training for any further questions, doubts, or assistance. So if you want to wait till then, that's still fine. And thirdly, if it does not interfere with your, well, I guess please keep please mute yourselves unless you're required to speak to avoid any background noises and distractions during the session. And finally, let's make it as interactive and engaging as much as we can so we can all get the maximum training out of it. Great. Right, so down to business. Christabel Oforiata, I'm thrilled to present our expert instructors. That will be Courtney Letcha, who is a data scientist and software entrepreneur. Solomon Igori, who is a data analyst and product expert. So between them, they have years of experience and will be leading us in transforming data into actionable insights in this training.
Yeah, just on my house.
Sorry, can you remain mute? Yes, lovely. Right, so I will let them introduce themselves to us in detail. So over to you, Eloquent Data, and to Solomon and Courtney.
All right, thank you very much. So I'll be sharing my slide briefly. Okay. Awesome. Hope you can see my screen.
Yes, we can.
All right, cool. Thanks, Christabel. You've actually said most of what I'm supposed to say in the introduction. So Eloquent Data is a social enterprise that provides data enthusiasts and working professionals with the required skills, resources, and mentorship that they will need to solve data challenges. And we partner with organizations and communities to train their members on data. And we also have a list of data courses on our website. In case you want to increase your data knowledge, you can access that using eloquentdata.com/academy. So these are the mentors. So myself, I'm Solomon Igori, a data and product analyst. I'm currently based in the UK. I enjoy building data-driven products. I'll let my colleague Courtney introduce herself.
Hey, good morning, everyone. My name is Courtney Lecha. I am a startup founder. I'm the co-founder of CoEdu. CoEdu is basically a learning management platform that helps learners to learning institutions rather to distribute like educational content to their learners and increase student engagement. So I am also someone who loves data. I love to build data projects, and yeah, I am with you guys today.
All right. So for the Q&A, please scan these QR codes or go to slido.com and enter this number 9937717. So if you have a question, you can drop it there. It will be easy for us to gather the question from Slido and then answer it at the end of the session. Yeah, so the other part, the data set. So the data set we'll be using today is from Kaggle. Kaggle is an open repository of community published data, codes, and models. So it's a place where you see a lot of data published by anybody or everybody. And you can also see codes on how people analyze or train machine learning models based on those data. And the data set we'll be using is a data set that is within your domain. So it's about electric vehicle sales data. The topic, it's a little misleading. We'll find that out during the analysis. Yeah, now we can get into business. Over to you, Courtney.
Okay, thank you, Solomon. So I'll be taking you through this session. Is an introduction to data analysis. So data analysis, or data as we know it in itself, is becoming very important in our digital world today. So it's I think it's really important that as professionals, we are able to have skills that can help us to analyze, collect this data, even visualize them. And so this is why this program or this training is important. We aim to equip you guys by the end of the program with necessary skills that you need to be able to collect, analyze, and visualize data. And also there's going to be a bonus track where you'll be introduced to AI tools such as ChatGPT and Leonardo AI. So let's get into business. Okay, Mohammed, can you please mute your mic? But yeah, let's get into business. So we want to start with data, right? Data and the different types of data. So at Eloquent Data, we define data as a collection of values that conveys information. It describes the quantity, quality, facts, statistics, and other basic units of meaning, or simply sequences of symbols that may be further interpreted. So that is how we define data at Eloquent Data. Data can be in different forms. It can be structured, it can be semi-structured or unstructured. So structured data, I think we are all very conversant with it. It's data that has been organized into like a formatted repository. So it's more of a tabulated one, which has like rows and columns. I think we are very familiar with that one. And then there's semi-structured data. Semi-structured data, unlike structured data, is it's not really organized, but then it has some organizational property to it to make it easier to analyze. So that organizational property is something we call metadata. I think a typical example that I'll give you is an email. I know most of you have received emails. Even for this training, you received an email. So an email has sometimes it has the person who sent it, not sometimes, all the time, person who sent it, the subject of the email, the content, and also sometimes attached files, right? So it is sort of structured, but it is not in a tabular form. Then there is unstructured data. For unstructured data, it is not in a tabular form. It is not organized. It's just data. An example would be like a PowerPoint slide, like the one we're using currently or right now, right? Okay, so now let's move on to the types of data that we have. So there are two types of data. The first one I'm going to talk about is numerical data, which can also be called quantitative data, right? So this is data that can be measured, you can count it, and then you can even make like statistical computations. So a typical example I would give would be if I'm to create a poll right now on this call and ask how many of you have eaten breakfast today. I'm sure I'm going to get some yeses and some nos. So I'll be able to actually count and say, oh, maybe 100% of you have eaten breakfast this morning, or about 25%. So because I'm able to count or make statistical computations out of this, this is data that is numerical or is quantitative, meaning it can be measured, right? But numerical data or quantitative data can be broken down into two forms again. So you can have continuous numeric data and discrete numeric data. So continuous numeric data is just data that can be further broken down into smaller units. So I'll give you an example. An example is, let's say, the length of a string, right? We can say the length of a string is like 20.8, 20.4 centimeters, or even the room temperature. We can say it's 30.8 degrees outside. So the fact that it can be broken down, meaning it's continuous. It is continuous numeric data, just as the name suggests. Then we have discrete numeric data. That one is data or quantitative data that is fixed. So a typical example would be the number of us on this call right now. We are about 49 participants, right? So the number 49 is fixed. It's not broken down. We don't have like 49.2 participants. Another example would be age. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I've never heard of anyone say I'm like 16.9 years old. So it's like 16 years old, 27, and all that. But no, some people said it's debatable. But yeah, so that is the type, that is the numeric or quantitative data. Now we move on to a different type of data called categorical, or also known as qualitative data. So, okay, okay. So for qualitative data, it is more descriptive. It is data that you can observe, but it cannot be measured, right? So it's mostly based on feelings, sentiments, and experiences. So an example would be still on the poll that I have created. Maybe my next question would say, I want to ask an open-ended question like, so why did you choose why did you choose to eat what you ate this morning? I might get responses like maybe it was leftover food, or it was food that was in, my fridge, or food that I can afford. So with this, you can't really put a measure to it. I mean, you can measure it, but then you can't really put like you have to categorize it, just as the name suggests, right? So there are two types of it. There's nominal categorical data, and then there's ordinal categorical data. Let me quickly rush through that. So for nominal categorical data, it is more of data that is used in labeling, right? It's used in labeling certain variables. For example, as on this call right now, we might be like 6 or 7 nationalities, if I'm not wrong. So we have some Ghanaians, we have some Nigerians, we have some people living in the UK. So we can actually like group this data by putting label, right, on us. Then the ordinal one is more of like data that is also used in categorizing, but in more of a hierarchy form, right? So for example, you take an Uber or a Bolt, and then they ask you at the end, rate the driver, right? On a scale of maybe 1 to 5. So if you give like 1 star, they sometimes want to know why you gave the driver like 1 star, just so they can improve the experience for you. But if you give like 5 star, that's like the highest, what do you call it, rating you can give. So that is the different types of data and data itself. I think I would leave the floor for Solomon to take you through data collection and data privacy.
Sorry, I've been battling, checking how to unmute myself. So it's fine. So I'll be taking the data collection section, and data collection is a fundamental step in data analysis. It's pretty obvious. If you want to analyze data, if you want to analyze data, definitely you need data for data analysis. So if you want to analyze, you need data. And data collection is a process of gathering information um, from various sources to analyze. And we have different ways or organization and businesses, even if individuals can collect data for analysis. And let's just go through some of the ways. So we have website tracking. So for example, we have cookies. I'm sure most of the time if you interact with some website, I think because of the data privacy, if you interact with some website, they'll ask you to accept or reject some third-party cookies. So cookies are like ways you track users' behavior. We also have sessions. Sessions are similar to cookies. This is where you track users' interaction on a particular website. It's used by organization to know like which areas of the websites the user interacts the most. So it's a way to optimize user experience. You also companies also take data from your social media behavior. So things you like, things you comment. So with that, they can study things you're interested in. And then we have the more formal ones, which are like forms and surveys. I'm sure most likely you've interacted with Google Form or Survey Monkeys. Those are some examples. We also have IoT devices, like your smartwatch. Okay, all right, that's fine. Like your smartwatch or your smart ring. So these devices, this kind of data are let me say it's based because most of these IoT devices track your health data, so it's very important to limit access to such device such kind of data. We have mobile application data. So some mobile application giving permission to some mobile application to get access to your folders, so they can have access to your pictures, your videos, your contacts, even your location. So this is a big one. You have to limit the a very good approach is using the least privilege approach to give the application just the least permission it needs to perform optimally. We also have e-commerce and transaction data. This is to know your buying behavior and things you're interested in. It's used mainly by other e-commerce websites. You've seen where you, let's say, search for a particular bag on a website, and all of a sudden, you start seeing ads based on that item you searched for. Um, and then we have device and browser, very similar to website tracking. It's where your geolocation can be tracked, or even your device type. So for data privacy, I always like to start with these quotes. If you're not paying for the products, you most likely are the products. And it's I think with the ease of at which data can be collected, it has made it necessary for your personal data to be protected, and this has led to data privacy. And so data privacy refers to the ability for you to determine when, how, and to what extent your personal information is being used and shared. And countries across the world have created some form of legislation to protect the data of their citizens. And we're going to touch across some of the popular regulations. We have GDPR. This is a General Data Protection Regulation. It's being used by the EU countries. We have NDPR, that's Nigeria Data Protection Regulation. We have Kenya Data Protection Act. We have California Customer Privacy Act, CCPA. We have in UK we have Data Protection Act, DPA, and South Africa has South African Protection of Personal Information Act. So they're all similar. The end goal of all this regulation is to protect the citizens of these individual countries from data exploration. But for this lecture, we're going through the general data protection regulation, and it's because it cuts across many countries, not just a single country, and it's being used by the European Union. So the GDPR are regulations that strengthens the data privacy of the citizens of the member states. It has a global effect because it's used by about 27 countries, and it ensures that the citizens of these countries have control over their personal data. And there's some key aspects of GDPR relating to data privacy. And these are some of them. We have explicit concepts. So this means you can decide what and how your data is being shared. I'm sure most of the time if you interact with some websites, it's going to show you the list of third-party applications to give access to your data. You either choose to give them access or um, rejecting those consents. We have rights to access and right to rectify. So it simply means if there's an organization that has access to your personal data, you have the right to request for that data. And if it's not true, or if there's something you need to modify in the data, you have the right to rectify that data. So this also leads to the next point, which is rights to be forgotten. So you have the right to delete your personal data from any organization or any system. We have rights, data portability, so the ability to transfer your personal data from um, one organization to another. You have privacy by design and default, very similar to the very first point. So when you're designing a system, you should think this more to the organization. When you're designing a system or designing a platform where users are going to interact with, you need to first and foremost think of how to make it secure and make sure you're not breaching any data privacy law. And the second to last point, data breach notification, very important. If your system is being hacked, you need to report to the appropriate authorities immediately. You need to notify them and also notify the people that have been affected. And lastly, international data transfer. This is so many countries, especially EU member states, they limit the transfer of personal data outside the boundaries of their location. So that's why you have most data centers residing in different regions, just to protect or ensure that data within that region doesn't leave. Yeah, practical time. So the next topic is data analysis. And so data analysis is the process of inspecting, cleaning, transforming, and modeling your data to uncover information. So in summary, you have your data now, you have your raw data, you've got your raw data through any of the means we've mentioned previously, right here. And you want to transform that data to get insights from that data. So that's what you do in data analysis. And there's steps to take when you're analyzing your data. And the very first step is to define the question. So you need to know why you're taking data, what question you're going to ask, and what problem you're solving. So once you've defined that question, the next step is to collect the data that would help answer those questions. So if you want to analyze data based on, let's say, based on sales of a particular product, you know the kind of data to collect. After you're collecting your data, the next step is cleaning and analyzing. So if you're collecting data in real world, most likely people input things that are not correct or even enter the data twice. So you get duplicates or data that are not correct. So you need to clean that data. And lastly, once you're done cleaning and analyzing, you would like to visualize your data to make it more appealing. And lastly, you create a report where you can share your insights. There are several tools for data exploration and analysis, and we just mentioned some few tools you can use for data analysis. Um, we have Python. I'm sure most of you have heard of Python. It's not a snake. This is a high-level general purpose programming language. It's a general purpose because you can use Python to do literally almost everything. You can use to build websites, you can use to build APIs, but we'll be focusing on Python for data science. And some of the tools you have in Python for data science is your Jupyter Notebook, your Jupyter Labs. These are like your IDE for data analysis. So integrated development environments. You can look at it as your Visual Studio Code for data science and data analysis. We also have several libraries like NumPy, Pandas. I think you have Panda. Yeah, you have Panda profiling. We have several data analysis tools for libraries for data analysis in Python. We have Microsoft Excel and Google Sheets. They do similar things, but they're owned by different organizations. And then lastly, we have SQL. So if you're interacting with database, most likely in real-world scenarios, you'll be interacting with database, you'd need SQL. Yeah, so practical sessions, we will be using that initial data for analysis. I'll be sharing a different screen right now. Just let me know. So if you click on the link we shared earlier on the email, you will see um, this page. Just give me a minute. Let me click on the link over here. It's going to take you to the CSV file containing the data. So bear with me. I think my network is slow. Yeah, this is the data. So a little disclaimer. Um, this is not my domain, but that's not a problem. I've done some extensive research around the data, so I, to a very high extent, understand the data points. And so the next step, once you've seen the CSV, what you need to do is to export it from CSV into your data, your Google Sheets. So click on this open with and then select Google Sheets. Awesome. So we have our data in Google Sheets. You give it time to open. So as I said earlier, the topic of the data was a little bit misleading because it doesn't only contains the sales of EV, it also contains the stock shares, the sales shares, even charging points. We'll go through every column to understand the type of data that we have in those columns. Like the first column is the region. That's clear. It's a geographical location. So every country that has some form of EV data collected We have the country in the region. We have the category. So the category is either historical or projections. And we have two projections. We have the APS, the projection APS, which is
I
announced.
someone
All right. All right, you saying something?
Hello. Meant for
Yeah, yeah.
people to set up their Google Sheet.
Okay, okay. So
So sorry, once you've set up your Google Sheet or you're at this point, can you let us know with the reaction so that we can go on? Just so you can follow keenly. So the link was also shared in the chat. So, okay, we have a couple of people indicating that their Google Sheets are set up now.
yeah, cool. Right. Yeah, I
Okay.
see a lot of done on the
Okay.
chat.
We can go on then.
Yeah, cool, cool. And another thing, I talk very fast. So in case I start rapping, just put on the chat to slow down and I will slow down a little bit. And yeah, back to the category, we have two projections. We have the APS. So it's an announced pledge scenario. So you heard of some countries setting some targets for 2030, 2050. We have another projection, the steps, which is state policy scenarios. And those are the three items we have in the categories. We have parameters. So these parameters, this is the type of data collected, and some of them are the electricity demands, the EV charging points. We have your EV sales shares, EV stocks, stock shares, and then oil displacement. So for the course of the analysis, I will be focusing on the charging points, and my colleague Courtney will be focusing on the sales. She'll be handling the sales data. The mood, these are the vehicle types. So we have bus, cars, trucks, vans, EV. The powertrain, we have different types of EVs. We have the normal EV, we have the battery EV, we have the plug-in hybrid EV, and we also have, I think the last type here is the fuel cell EV. The year, it's ranged from 2010 to 2035. Wondering why 2035? It's because of the projections. So from 2023 upwards are projections. And then the units are based on the parameters. So if it's a share, you see percentage. If it's a sales, you can see the vehicle. So those are based on the parameters. And lastly, the value. That's now the numerical data for these data points. So cool. For the analysis, we'll be answering a very simple question. It's about the trend of data of charging EV charging ports within this region across the years. And before we get into that, let's try to understand our environment. So this is your Google Sheets. Um, Over here by your left, you have different rows. So the rows are usually in numbers. So one to, yeah, just one downwards. So it's quite long. So you can keep adding sheets till points your Excel would become slow. But it's huge. It can take a very large amount of data. So you're fine. And then we have columns over here. So the columns are in alphabetical order. You have your A, B, C, D downwards. On top here, you have your menus and then your shortcuts. You have your files, edit, view, insert, format data, tools, extension, and help. Clicking on any of them, you see other menus underneath the items. Yeah, let's jump into analysis. The first thing we would need to do would be to freeze our very first cell. Because if you check, if you're scrolling, your title was missing, it won't be much of a problem right now because this data the columns are relatively few and we just have one numerical data. So we'll know what that is as value, we'll know this is unit. But if you have a lot of data that has similar types, it's a good idea to always freeze the very first row so you know the data you're interacting with. And to do that, you just click on the row you want to freeze. You go to view and then hit on your freeze. This will freeze the first row. You can do that to the column, but I don't see a need to because this is part of the data. So that's fine. The next thing I would do is to remove some data. So do some data cleaning. Already, do you have you have your hands up?
Yes. I hope you can hear me.
Yeah.
So please pause at every, new action and just let's catch up. All right. We are slow here. Thank you.
All right. Roger that. I hope, okay, if you're done freezing the first column, just indicate with a thumbs up or write it in the chat so we can go to the next step. Okay, cool. So the next step is to do some data cleaning. I will be removing some sections. So based on the region, I want to remove the word data. I think the word data is like a combination of every data. So it's already aligned in alphabetic order. But if it wasn't, this is what we would do. Just click on this and then take it A to Z. Well, I think a better one is from Z to A. So the word data will come up. So I can delete the data. So just go to the very last word data. There's a lot of data. So if you check the column, we have over 12,655 different rows. So what you do next, just go to the very last word data. I would better just scroll from here downwards. Yeah, cool. It stops at somewhere around here. Awesome. So somewhere around here from the 1,251 cell. So click on the very first, the last word data. Shift Control right. It takes you to the very last item in the right, and then Shift Control up. It takes every bit of the data, and then you can press downwards a little bit. Oh, that would delete the column. You know what? Let's take it from A to Z. A to Z. So won't delete the column over here. So similarly, you go down and search for the word data. So once you get the very first word data, click on the first item, shift column
Hold
right.
on, Solomon, please hold on.
I'm lost. Okay.
I think that the sorting of the data bits was lost on some of us. So right click on the colon and you will see the sort option. I think you should like paste in that manner, if that's okay.
All right. All right, that's fine. You don't have to right click. If you hover the column, you see an arrow here. So just click on the arrow. Click on the arrow, it will show you this different menu. Just go down to sort from A to Z. So click on this A to Z, and then to sort it based on the very first country A, then to the last country. If there's a country Z, unfortunately, no country Z. So the last set of the data will need to delete is word, and it's like the very last set. So that's fine. So you go to column, or better still, an easier one, press Control F and then type word. It will take you to the last word. We have lots of words, so it's going to get really slow, but at least it's pick the first word. Or go to column 11406. 11406, it will take you to the very first word. Once you can locate that first word, it's fine. You're like 100%, 50% done. So click on that cell.
So we have some people with questions because they have raised hands. Annette?
Okay.
Hi, I understand that we are cleaning up the data, but I just want clarification on why we are deleting the data to do with the as in the world data. Why are we deleting that?
The word is a combination of every other data. So if you're analyzing the projection of the individual data and the word is going to create a skew. So it's going to
Understood.
be,
Thank you.
yeah, like addition, like duplicate. Right, thanks. So if we all located the very first word data? Awesome. So a shortcut, Shift, Command or Control, right. So this will take it will highlight every item to the right for you. And with the same shortcut, Shift, Control or Command down, it's going to highlight everything downwards for you. So if you see, we've highlighted everything that has the word data, and we press the delete or backspace in Windows and delete everything. Courtney, Ore.
Yes, there's also a region called rest of the world. When we do Control plus F, we also see that as well.
Yeah, rest of the words are like every other country that's not mentioned, that's not part of this country. So let's say Nigeria has some EV China ports or some EV sales. It will show on the rest of the world. So it's different from the words. So the word is like the summary of every combination of everybody, but the rest of the word is like the countries mentioned, and the other countries that are not mentioned.
Okay. Someone says to repeat the step of deleting again with the shortcut.
Okay. Control Z. So bringing everything back here. Cool. You have to locate the very first word, the very first word. Shift, Command, or Shift Control. Then your right arrow is going to take everything to the right. So you highlight everything to the right. So with the same thing, Shift, Command, or Control down, it will highlight everything downwards. So once you highlight all the word data, you press your delete and it will delete the data. All right, you're welcome. Please indicate with the thumbs up if you've deleted the data. Yeah. Okay, how do we locate the first word? So you go to column 11406. So you have to scroll to column 1146, and then
You
that's where
mean
you find the word data. Sorry, row, like a column. Try row 11406. So if you've gotten there, we're done with the first part of the cleaning. Yeah, I want to also delete EU because we have Europe and we have EU 27. The difference is before and after Brexit. So EU 27 is the remaining members of the European Union outside after UK left. That's why we have UK here, and then EU or Europe. So we can take away Europe and leave EU 27. But instead of doing it here, I'll show you how to do that when we're creating the pivot table. So that's fine. So now because I'm analyzing just the charging points, I want to extract the charging point from this data. So to do that, oh yeah, cool. Let me show you another thing. To expand your data, you can come to this, go to this section between the data you want to expand and the next data. It will bring out an icon. With the icon, you either drag or you double click. If you double click, it will open to the point where everything is visible, or you drag to the point you want to see. So either way works. So I'm focusing on the parameter EV charging endpoint. So I want to extract this data to a different sheet. So to do that, I'll need to create a new sheet. If you go down here, you see a plus button. It's called Add Sheet. If you click on it, it's going to create a new sheet. Um, the new sheet, it has a name sheet one. You can rename it by double clicking on the sheet one and give it a name. I'll call it EV um, charging points. Cool. Or you can also click on this arrow down and click on rename. I find it easy by just double clicking and then renaming. So that's easier. If you've created a new sheet, please thumbs up. All right, cool. And now to filter that data, we'll use a function in Google Sheets. So function, we use the filter function. So if you want to use the function, you start with an equals to sign. So equal to, then you type in the function name. We're using filter. So the filter works with range and condition and then other series of conditions. So I want to pick the range. I'll come over
hi,
here.
Solomon. Hello.
I
Please slow down. And I think you need to reshare your full screen, your entire screen. So while you were creating the new sheet, we couldn't see, or I couldn't see. So please do that. Thank you.
All right. I'm actually sharing my full screen, but I could let me delete and recreate um this. Yeah, a very good another lesson to delete your sheets. You could just click on the arrow down here and then click on delete. It's going to give you heads up and just press OK. You delete the sheet. So to create a new sheet, can you see my screen? There's a button at the bottom left here called Add Sheet. It's a plus button. So once you click on the plus button, it creates a new sheet for you. So just watch. If I click on the plus button, I get a sheet here, a new sheet. It's called sheet 2 because I've created the sheet 1 previously. So with this sheet 2, you would need to rename it. So the easiest way to rename is to double click on the sheet 2 name. So over here, if you double click here, it gives you that edit prompt, so you can rename it to EV charging points. Cool. So we have EV charging points here. Hope it's clear. All right.
Yes, it is.
Okay, awesome. So we'll be using the filter function. Yeah. So to export, we'll leave the first row because the first row would have um our titles. So we'll leave that. We'll start with the second row. So start with an equal to sign and then type filter. Click on it if you don't type it fully, and then you need a range, then you need conditions. So to get the range, we want to highlight every file here. So we'll go to the other sheet, the previous sheet, click on it. The quoting is following you. We'll go to the very first cell in this sheet. So we'll take it up to the top and click on the very first cell. Now it's blocking the cell. We need cell 2. It's fine, it's blocking the cell. So go back here and just pick on cell 3, B3. But I know the cell is A2. So fine, I'll go over here and write A2. So it's highlighting A2. I want A2 to the very last item. So shift this. And then taking it down. So the easiest way, just remove this 2 from the H2, it will take it down for you. So you have your A2, which is the very first cell, then to H, everything in H. So this is fine. If I highlighted the full table, you can go to the last cell and you see if I highlighted the table and every other thing that is not in the table. Then the next item, you put a comma. The next item is your condition. So the condition is, remember, we're filtering based on the parameter. So I'll put a space there and click on the parameter here. The same way, it's C2, it's picking the very first item in C. But I want all the C, so I'll delete the 13 behind the order C. So we have from C2 down. So it highlights every C item we have here. So cool. And we're not done. We want the C to be equal to.
Hello. Sorry to interrupt again. You're not paying attention to the chat, so I keep interrupting. Apologies. You need to
Okay.
go over it again. From filter, right? How you got to A2 and so on.
Okay.
I'm
Okay,
the,
let's
I'm,
start
I'm
from.
the voice of the chat.
Okay, let me check. I'm getting an error. Or if you're getting an error, most likely your function ran before you gave it all the required data. Let me press escape. I'm getting an error, NA. Just delete it. You can start again, or you can, or just delete it and start again. That will be clear. That will be better. So start with an equal to sign first. Equal to, then filter. Excellent. So once you've gotten to your equal to filter, you can click on the function. It will give you the range, conditions, and then series of conditions. What I did, I was looking for the range. That means the data I want to filter from. So to do that, I went to the previous sheet. So if you go down, you can see your EV data 2024. Click on it. This is your previous sheet. I want to highlight every data here. And I know the data started from A2 because I don't want to pick the columns. So I'm starting from A2. We click on, now it's difficult because the function is blocking the A2. That's the reason why I picked on B2. But I need A2, so you can easily edit by just clicking your arrow backwards. And then it picks A2 for me, so this is fine. So if you have gotten to this point, you'll see something like Global EV Data 2024 with your exclamation mark A2. Do not press enter because you just selected only one cell. We want to capture the full table. So to capture the full table, you need the very last point here, which is H2. Or if you're still having the issue with the A2, what you can do, just start with the H2 and target everything down to A2. I think this is better. So it's as though you selected the full row from A2 to H2. And then, awesome. And then delete the 2 behind the H. This will capture everything because in your Google Sheets, if there's no number behind the alphabet, it ticks every item in that alphabet, or it picks the full row. So that's why you're selecting the full H, but it's starting from A2. So delete the 2 here, you pick the full row. So we've highlighted the range, we've highlighted every data we need to filter from. So if we're done with the range, you press a comma, it will jump to the next condition, the next parameter we need to enter. Okay, David, to get the range, what you need to do, once you've got into this filter, select any item in this true range, or better still, select H2. From H2, drag to A2. It will automatically pick the range for you. And remove the 2, just press backspace, remove the 2 behind the H in your formula. It picks every item in the table for you. So with that, you've gotten every item in the table. Then add a comma. Select a condition. The condition I want is still pick from the C, or you can pick any item from the C upwards to C2 because I'm trying to avoid picking the parameters. The heading. So it picks from C2 to C18. I remove the 18 because I want the full C column. So that's the condition, but we're not done with the condition. I want to check where this column is equal to. I want the charging ports. It's called EV charging points. So we will type it EV charging points. Close it and then close your parentheses and enter. So automatically we've gotten all our data, selecting just the EV charging points. Okay, the new thing with the column. Okay, you know what? We can also do this with pivot table. Well, I was just showing you how to extract data from one sheet to another sheet automatically. We can still do this filter with pivot table. Maybe if we've gotten to the pivot table session, it's going to be clearer. All right, your hands are up.
Yeah, I think you can do it one more time, then use a pivot table to do it moving forward.
Okay, someone just shared the formula. I think if you copy that formula and paste it in the new sheet, the second column in the new sheet, you're gonna get where I am right now.
Yeah, the formula only works if you have the same spelling of the sheet, right?
Yeah, if you extract the table directly, I didn't change the name of the sheet. So it was gotten from the CSV. Except if you rename to the CSV, it will work. So the formula is independent of the sheets I created because you're entering data from the previous sheet into the new sheet. So David, did it work for you? No, the C parts. Okay. Okay, the C part is what's left. Let me check the C part in the formula. Oh, yeah. Let me explain the C parts. What I did here, let me go back here. So the formula, we are picking the global EV data, the C parts. Why we're picking the C parts? Because we want to filter the C parts. And we want to get only the EV charging points from the C parts. That's why we are picking the C2 to the end of the C. So once you've highlighted from C2, which is the beginning of this, parameter minus the heading, down to the end, you just put an equal to sign. And with double quotes, because if you use single quotes, you get an error. Double quotes, EV charging points, and then to get you only the EV charging points. Awesome. Awesome. So if you're done with that, you can now click other sheets here that I'm unable to select the column. Oh yeah, if you try to select the column, it's going to be difficult. That's why, let me start from the beginning again for the last time. So over here, just delete this, delete everything. So you start with an equal to sign and then type your filter. Click on this or your tab anyway. It's asking for the range. So you come over here. This is what I did. I located the very first item or the very first row. I clicked on the H part because it's difficult to click on the A2. So if you start with the H2, you can highlight backwards to A2. So we've gotten everything in this row 2, which is fine. The next thing I did was to delete the 2 behind the H. So this will highlight everything from H2 then to H. That means downwards to the very last item in H. It's going to select all my data for me, which is fine. So coming over here, delete it too. I've gotten all my data. So the next part of the formula is to set the condition. What do I want to filter? What do I want to get in the new sheet? So if you put a comma, it jumps to the condition. What I want to filter is to get the EV charging points, only the EV charging points. That's the condition. And where can I get the EV charging points? It's under the parameter, which is C. So C is the parameter. This way I get the EV charging points. So to highlight the C column, I clicked on any item here. So you can click on C10, C9. It doesn't really matter because I'll delete the last part. Take it up to C2 because that's the very first column in C. So I'm highlighting C2 to C9. But I don't really need a 9. I want to highlight every item in the C. So I'll delete the 9. It will highlight every item in the C, which is cool. And lastly, I want to check the condition of this parameter. It should match the string called EV charging points. So put an equal to sign, and then with a double quote, you type EV charging points. I need to confirm if this is the term that was used. Yeah, EV charging points with an S. Yeah, cool. So end your quotation and then close your function. and press enter. So automatically filters this table based on the, oh, thank God, yeah, David, awesome, it worked. So it automatically filters the table based on the charging point. So we get only the charging points. So we're done with this step. I could just jump to the pivot table. Pivot table is way easier. Now we need the heading. So we'll just highlight this heading. So the A1 to H, copy, come over here, and from the A1, paste. So we have the heading. The same thing you did the first one, just freeze this first row. Just freeze this column. So we're done with this. The next item is to create a pivot table. So you can create a pivot table based on the first data. You can create a pivot table based on these other charging points. I'll do with this charging point because we've already worked on this bit. So to make our data cleaner, to do that, we highlight, or not to highlight, just leave it like this. Click on any item or any cell here. Go to insert, look for pivot table. Remember, insert in your menu, insert pivot table. Once you click on the pivot table, it will automatically highlight every cell in this sheet. And it's going to ask you if you need to insert it in the new sheet. Yes. Don't touch it because I'm sure it will automatically pick the heading from A1 to the very last cell, which is fine. Just click on the create button and it will take you to a new sheet it created for you. And this sheet contains the different headers here. And then you have your column, rows, column values, and filters. I'll explain this. Well, please, if you've gotten to the pivot table sheets, just indicate with a thumbs up. All right, cool. Let me delete this pivot table and start over again. So this is our EV charging point. Just click anywhere within your data. Doesn't really matter, anywhere. Go to your insert column. Up underneath the title, you see insert. Once you click on this insert, you will see pivot table. So locate your pivot table and click the pivot table. It's going to give you different input data. Leave everything as default. Another thing, do not click on your data once it has given you this sheet. You know why? Because once you click on your data, it's okay. Oh, cool. Thank God. So there's no problem. So if you click on this data range, that's when once you click on data, it affects. So once it gives you this range and this new sheet, just leave it at default and click on the create button. It's going to create a pivot table for you. So if you've gotten to this point, please indicate with a thumbs up. Awesome. So just click on the create and it's going to create a new sheet for you automatically. Awesome. So you can rename your pivot sheet. I'll just leave it as this pivot table 2. So automatically it picks the first row as the header. So you have your header here, and then we have the rows. So these are, you can pick any of these.
Click on the one, and then next we'll send you a certification.
Oh, sorry about that. So we have the row, so you can pick any of these item as your row. So anyone you want to analyze, we have your column. So in case you want to spread it across the columns, we'll do that during the example. You have your value. These are the value you want to analyze. And from our data, we have only one numerical value. So we can put that in value and then filter. These are the items we want to filter. So if we had created the pivots.
We have a question,
Okay.
Solomon.
Oh, all right. What's the question?
All right. Oh, I saw your hand raised. Okay, Athena.
Okay, as you know.
Hi, sorry to take you back, but I still could not filter my table, even though my formula is correct, it's still showing not applicable.
Not applicable.
Like a
Can you
hashtag and NA.
paste your
Oh,
formula in the chat and I'll help you out, Anita, if that works.
Okay.
okay. Awesome. And okay, you know what? Let me create a pivot table with the general sheets and see how we can skip this part and just analyze the data we want to analyze quickly. So similarly, just go to your insert, go to pivot table, and then new sheet. It's going to create a pivot table. I'll call this pivot table general pivot, and then I'll call this charging points pivots. Cool. So if you want to analyze this our data, what you just need to do is to look for the parameter here, put parameter under the filter. Cool. And then click on all items and clear out all items and select only the charging ports. So it solves the problem. So with this, whatever data you're putting in here, it filters it and shows only the charging ports data. Back to the pivots, the charging ports pivots data. Because we've already removed it, so there's no need to filter based on charging ports. Because if you click on parameters here and take it down here, the only item you see here is charging ports. So we've done the filtering here already. So clean here, there's no need for that. A question. Okay,
No,
it,
I
it
think
works. Okay, awesome.
Annette has a question, but Athena already spoke, so she can lower her
Go
hand.
ahead.
Yeah.
Okay,
Just to take us back to the general pivot.
okay.
If you go back to the general pivot, I know you filtered for parameters, but how did you pull up because I don't see a drop down for the EV on the general,
Okay, so
so
let
that
me
it only
close this.
spools EV information. Yeah.
So yeah, you just look for, there's a filter section here.
Okay.
So you either drag and drop or you click on this
Mm-hmm.
add. So what I did, I
Mm-hmm.
drag and drop, or you can click on
Mm-hmm.
add and then click on parameters. So
Okay.
if you click on parameters, you see all items.
Mm-hmm.
Click on the drop down here. You see every item we have in the parameter. But I want to just focus on this EV charging points. So I'll clear every other data by clicking this clear and click on only the EV charging points and press
Thank
OK.
you. My drop down comes blank, but I'm sure I must have gotten something wrong. But I understand the general concept, so you don't have to go through it again. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. You're welcome. So if it's blank, if the parameter is blank, most likely the pivot table you've created, maybe it didn't capture all the data. So what you do, you have to delete that pivot table and then create a new pivot table. So let's focus on the charging points. So we've done the filter already
Hi,
manually here.
Solomon. Sorry to
Are you?
interrupt. I think that most people created the pivot table on the second sheet, not the first one. So on the filtered sheet, not the first data set sheet that had all the data. If you did your pivot
Oh,
table on the second sheet, you will only see EV charging points under parameters. But if you did it on the first sheet, you will see all the options and then you can select EV charging points. I hope that's
yeah.
clear for everyone.
Yeah. Thanks, Ore. So the reason why I show the general pivots is to show you another way of removing or selecting only the charging points without creating a new sheet. So in case we want to do analysis based on every parameter, we can create a pivot for just the charging points and create another pivot for another parameter based on the data. So there's no need to filter. So that's the reason why I showed you the general pivot. Well, because we are focusing only on the charging points, I think I will just delete this general so it will remove the confusion and then focus on the charging point pivot table. So that's cool. So I'm on the charging point. So I want to get the countries. So select. Okay, so select a region and put the region under the row. So we have the different countries. Yeah, we have rest of the world. We have you have Europe. You have Europe 27. We have to remove Europe, but it's fine. We can analyze with Europe for now. And would also we want to add the value under the value. Oh, now based on the type of data Courtney thought, there's an error somewhere. If we're counting the number of charging ports, it's quite ridiculous to have of decimal points when counting the number of charging ports. That means there's error with the data. So there's an error with the Brazil data, with error with the EU27 data, and
Please start over, Solomon.
which is another way to filter. Okay.
Hi, Solomon.
Yeah, I
Can
can
you
hear
hear
you.
me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Yes. So let's confirm, is everybody's pivot table on sheet one? Is your pivot table drawn from sheet one or sheet two? Just put 1, 2 in the chat. Let's just confirm where everybody's at. If yours was on sheet 2 or sheet 1, let's know. We have 1, we have 2. So most people are on sheet 2. I believe, Solomon, you are also pivoting from sheet 2, right?
Yeah.
Am I wrong to say that?
Yeah, I'm pivoting from the EV charging point. So it's a sheet two. So if
Sheet
you're on sheet, if you
2.
create
All
a
right.
pivot table from sheet one, please create a pivot table from the charging point, the sheet two, so we can follow along.
Yes. So everybody needs to be on pivoting from sheet 2. The reason we're showing you how to pivot is so that you have an alternative on using the filter function, right? Because pivoting tables take shorter time, right, than the
Yeah.
functions.
And if you can find your region, your pivot table, most likely you didn't copy the role here and add it to your new data. So after when you're filtering, please start from the row two. Once you're done with that, go to this place, copy the header, and then paste over here. So with that, when you create a pivot table, it picks the very first row and displays to your left, or sorry, to your right. Yes, she is what I renamed as EV charging points here, because that's what I filtered. All right, cool. So let me take off these rows and column. So this is what you get if you create your pivot table from scratch. It's an empty pivot table, and it shows you where you find your rows, where you find your columns, and where you find your values. And we have your row columns and values, and then the filter. I remember our question is to understand the trend of electric charging points across different countries within the range of time. And to do that, we have to pick the region and put it in the row so that we can get all the regions in the row. So click on the add and click on the region. We have our regions in the row. So we have all the countries in the data over here in the row. So that's fine. The next item is to get our value in the value section. So click on add and click on value, you get your value. And finally, I was saying, based on the type of data, we know that there's an error somewhere. There's an error here because you can't get a point something when we're counting the number of charging points. So see that one charging point or there's no charging point. So there's an error here in Brazil, there's an error here in EU27, and there's an error here in Israel. So those are the countries that have obvious fractions. So let's go and filter Brazil and see where the error is coming from. So back to this sheet, locate Brazil, Control F, Brazil. Yeah, cool. We've gotten to Brazil, column 62. Yeah, there are errors because you only usually get errors when you're capturing data from real world scenario. So most likely there was an input error, or maybe the computer kind of ran things overboard, taking it down or up. But usually data are not always clean. That's why you need to analyze. And I call it an error because it's a discrete data. So you can have a 0.5 charger. It's either you have a charger or you don't have a charger. So when you're counting those charging points, it's discrete. So if you're having the points in your charging ports, then there's a problem somewhere. So what I would do right now is to run them up. I'll round them up to the nearest number. So have this as 5. Yeah, take it to 5. Take here 5. Oh, Control Z. So you know the reason why it's broken is because I'm trying to override the formula, so it will break. So what to do to convert this thing, make sure it's not the formula. So just press Control A, you highlight all your table, then Control C, copy the table, and then go to the very first element, A1, right click here, and then go to space special, value only. It will give you the same thing, so as though you didn't do anything. But with this, you can edit the data. So if I come over here and press 5 now, it will work without breaking anything. Let me go over that item again and explain why it was breaking. So it was breaking because Ctrl Z, Ctrl Z. Yeah, it was breaking because we're trying to edit output from a formula. So all this data, though they're shown as a string, but they all originate from this formula. So trying to edit any of them will give you an error. So to fix this error, we need to remove the formula, but we need to preserve the data. So we have to copy this data and paste it as a value. So when you're pasting as a value, you're removing every formula. You're just pasting the value of those data. So what I did is Command A or Control A to highlight every data in this sheet. Go to the very first cell, which is the A1. Right click, go down to paste special, and then paste values only. So you have formats only, you have formulas only. So this is the one we're using previously because we're pasting formulas, but we want to paste only the values. So once you click on value only, it will give you the same data as though nothing happened. But the only difference is if you hover to this number 2 now, it's in value, it's no longer a formula. So with this, you can edit your data. All right. So back to Brazil. Let's round it up. We have like 5 here, 5 and 5 here, 5, 5 and 5. Awesome. We've gotten Brazil done. over here, Brazil is fixed. The next country is EU21. Back here, EU21, still Control F, EU27, sorry, not 21. Yeah, this is where the decimal point is coming from. It's just an error over here. I think, yeah, it's just error. So this should be rounded down to 6. David, we can post your question. Oh, all right.
Yes, I think that we can use the formatting to, select that column and ensure that all the values in there are, rounded up. On the menu where you have like the decimal points, can you show us how to do that? So that, because looking for each of those cells might be difficult for everybody. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you can use the formula for it. But I just want to manually because there are other values over here. You can use the formula for it. So it will involve us creating a new value, so disrupting the our pivot table. I just didn't want to go through that stress, but okay, that's fine. We can create a value two, and you can start with your equal to, and there's a formula called round. So once you click on round, so you say round the number according to the standard rule. So click on round and then click on the value. The very first value, that's fine. And then close it and press enter. It's going to highlight for every other value and then press equal to. So it automatically highlights everything. And what you can
Please
do
do
now,
that
yeah,
again.
cool.
Do that again.
Control Z. So I created a new column called let me call it a round up values or value to maintain the value here. Random value. I want to use a function called round. So the function round uses the standard round up and round down. So if the next value after the decimal point it's 5 and above, it rounds it up. If it's below 5, it rounds it down. So remember to create to use any function, you start with an equal to sign. Equal, then type your round. You see a round here. So the round up rounds everything up. So even if it's not up to the 5, it rounds it up. Round down rounds everything down. So even if it's a 4.9, it will give you 4. Round, apply the standard round up and round down. So if it's 5 and above, it rounds it up. If it's below, it rounds it down. So we'll be using the round. Clicking on this round. So we need a value. I'm picking the H because I'm picking the H2 because I'm in the to session. So just pick the value behind it. And then close your function and press enter. So once you press enter, automatically Google Sheet will suggest to perform the same operation on every other sheet. So just click on your equal to, and then it will prefill it. So cool, we've automatically rounded up everything or rounded down everything. So we want to get this value in this value, so we won't have to create a new pivot table. So fine, we'll click on the very first item. Remember, Shift Control down, it will highlight everything every value there. Copy, and then once you're done copying, go to the very first item, click on the very first item here. Don't paste immediately, because if you paste immediately, it will override. So what you would do, just right click and paste special, paste values only. Ta-da. So we'll paste our values only. Then we can throw this other column away.
Again, before you throw it away, again.
All right. All right. Any other question? Oh yeah, that also works. Yes, Steven, that also works. So Stevie showed yeah, this is actually a better way of doing it. Let's go Ctrl Z, and get away with this column. But I don't know if that will affect the pivot table, but let's give it a try. So highlight this H, and then use this decreasing decimal place to remove the decimal place. Ta-da! So we have no decimal place. So automatically clears up everything for us. But I don't know if it will affect the pivot table. Let's check. Oh, yes, it did. So I think that's a better answer. Thanks. Thanks, Steven. So we don't have to create a sheet and copy and paste. So you need to go to this section and click. Once you've highlighted your H, go over here and click on this decimal place, decrease decimal place. It's going to remove everything.
Annette,
Also,
did
now
you
we
have
don't
a
have
question?
this.
Sorry, Annette, did you have a question?
Yes, I did. Thanks. If we did go ahead to add a new column in the EV charging points, if we went and added a new column, so an I, for example, would there be a way to quickly refresh the pivot table, or do you have to adjust the parameters in the editor to tell it what columns to include? Is there a shortcut for refreshing the pivot table?
Yeah, if you add a new column, yeah, there is a way to refresh the code, the pivot table. I won't say refresh because you need to add that column to the pivot table. So I'll say there's a way to extend your range. If you go back, if you go to your pivot table, in the very first section here, you have your range. I think if you click on the select range, it will show you the range that is selected from. So if you add a column, let's say no longer H, you've added something to I, let's say new item. So you have to click here and call it I. So with this, it will tick from A to I of this sheet. Press OK, it's going to pick that data. But we'll stick to the H. And okay, yeah. So awesome. Yeah, we've gotten everything properly
Sorry to
presented. Awesome.
interrupt. Could you
Okay.
please scroll down to the pivot table editor? I'm just trying to see what you have there for filters.
Where this?
Filters.
Okay, filters. I have not added it. I didn't add any filter because I'm using the charging point data, not the EB data. So if you're using a charging point pivot table, you don't need to add filters right now. We'll add filters
Okay.
later, but right now you don't need a filter.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. You're welcome. Awesome. Now we've seen our data are clean. We've gotten a range of different EVs, and the next step will be to check it across the years. So we need to put years
Sorry to
in the
interrupt.
row.
Someone
All
has their
right.
hands up, and there's a question.
Okay, David, what's the question? David, what's the question? Okay, there's a question on the chat too. So to repeat, Steven's solution to the problem was to, instead of creating a new value that rounds it up with a function, we can use this shortcut here to round the data up. So the easiest way is to highlight the column we want to round up, which is this column H. Just click on it. It highlights every value. And then click on the shortcuts, decrease decimal place. Once you click on it, it will remove every decimal place you want. That's
Can you hear me?
yeah, David, I can hear you now.
Okay. So I was saying that when I use Stevens' method, which is to round up in the H column, it's actually very fine and optimal. But supposing I was using the long method, creating a new column, calling it roundup, when I copy the values and I paste special in H, it rounds the values up all right. But I get some reference error, like from A to J, everything is empty, and then I see some reference error.
Referencing error.
Yeah, telling me that I sorted out my string by a value instead of I sorted out my column by a string instead of a value.
Yeah, it's gonna give you that error if you do not paste value only. So because you are rounding up a you're rounding up a number, if you're copying that formula to this, it will try to round up this, and this is a string. So it will give you an error. So you have to paste special and paste value only. So if you're pasting value only, it only copies the value and not the formula and paste it here. Hope that was clear. Okay, awesome. So the next are pivot table. So we want to spread it across the different years. So carrying the years and fixing it in the column section. Awesome, cool. Now we've seen a very clean analysis of the data. So what I did, I just dragged the years down here, or you can click on add and click on year. Same thing, they both work. And we have the long years of this. And now I don't want to see any projections. I just want to work with facts. What I would do, I will focus on just the historical data. So there are ways of doing this. We can remove. So we can remove from year 25 upwards. Or remember what I said there in the, I think it's in the category, the historical and their projections. So we can filter based on only historical and leaving projections. So this is where we'll have to use the filter. So click on the add category down here, click on the down button and remove projections, keep only historical. So with that, we have only the historical data from 2010 to 2023. Perfect. Now we've seen the trends and we've seen the countries that have electric vehicle.
Solomon, hello.
Hi,
Please do that
Ore.
over again. How to stick to historical data alone.
Okay.
Once again with the historical data.
All right. So let me clear up the filter. So to add a filter to focus on only the historical data and not projections, we'll go to the filter section, click on the add, and then click on category. So here you have all the categories, projection and historical. There's a drop down, show items. So it's showing all the items. So filter, click on this drop down, and then remove the check marks from the projections. So if you click on this, it removes the check mark from projections. So right now we're left with only historical, and press OK. Automatically takes off every historical data, every projection,
Right.
and keep historical data. Cool. At least we're making headways. Awesome. And now, yeah, we are seeing we have EU 24 and Euro. I said earlier, EU 24. Okay, I just someone was asking a question. I said earlier, EU 24 is the other EU member states outside the United Kingdom. So it's EU after Brexit. So we can remove Europe because it covers United Kingdom. But let's just analyze with the data. So we've gotten our analysis right, and we can see the countries that has very high grand total of electric vehicles. So let's see this grand total of electric. You have 700 here. Yeah, that's the cool thing about analysis. Now we've been able to analyze from the huge data, about 12,000 rows. We're able to break it down into a smaller sheet with about 800 something rows. And with this, we were able to create a people table, seeing the trend across the countries, and we can push this a little bit further. I don't do much visualization here because it's a session for visualization, but we can push it a little bit further by getting the trend based on this analysis, because a picture is worth 1,000 words. So to do that, I'll just highlight the region down. Please, if you're doing a visualization based on the pivot table, it's always a good idea to omit the totals. So the grand total or the total underneath here, so you only analyze your data. So I've left the total, I've left this total. We have only this data. So click on the insert, then look for, no, we don't want to insert now, because if you try to create a table out of this, it won't give you a line chart. If you want a line chart, make sure your yes is in the column, and then the country is in the row. So what I'll do, I'll copy this and come over here and paste. So this is like reversing what I have here. To reverse it, it's easy. We can either reverse it from here, taking column to row and row to column. Awesome. Perfect. So we've reversed this here. There's no need to transpose, but I want to show you how to transpose your data. So let's go over it so I can show you a skill on how to transpose your data. So I want to reverse this data. I want to put columns in the row section and row in the column section. What I can do, I can copy this data, Control C, then come down to any new cell, right click, and go to paste special. So instead of pasting values or formula, go down to transpose and click on paste. Right now it has transposed the data, taking every item here, over here, and every item here, down here. So in case you have a data you want to transpose, you can do that easily here. Well, I think I would, okay, let me work with this for visualization because we've already stressed ourselves transposing the data. So picking all the countries, awesome, with United States, down here, right click. Okay, no need to right click, sorry. Let's select everything. Go to insert. Insert, then click on charts. I think it'd be smart enough to pick a line chart. Yeah, it's smart enough to pick a line chart. So based on the data you've provided, you pick the most appropriate chart for it, but you can select any other form of chart you want. Maybe you can go with this. This will be quite noisy. Okay, I'll just stick with a line chart. Cool. Go over transpose again. All right, I'll go over transpose. Just give me a minute. Yeah, cool. So to transpose your data, let me do this. Transposing your data is to convert the rows to columns and then the columns to rows. So if you want to make these items here from 2010 to 2023 to fill in this position, I want to take this country over here to this position, you need to transpose your data. There are easier ways. You can either switch the year from the column to the row and the row to the column, but you may need to do a transpose on the data that is not in the pivot table. So to do that, just highlight your data, which is from here to just the data you want to transpose. I'm trying to avoid, or I'm avoiding the grand total. Copy the data, Control C or Command C, then go to any cell, right click, go to paste special, You see value only, skip this, go down to transposed. So once you click on transpose, it will transpose your data for you. All right,
Hi,
so cool.
Solomon. Can
Hiya.
you hear me?
Yeah, but your line is breaking.
Hello?
Yeah, better now.
Yes. So, well, we have a, can you, yes, we have an high on the time, and we are very close to the end of the session. So I wanted to confirm that the Zoom wouldn't go off at that specific time. So we have enough time to wrap up and maybe continue this training another time. Does that
No,
work?
yeah, it won't go off, so we can use the Zoom for an extended amount of time.
Great.
Okay, awesome. So yeah, I'm almost done with my beats. I'm lost, can't see the entire screen. You can see my screen. Um, what you can do, if you can't see the screen, you can log out and then log in again. You should be able to see the screen. But I hope every other person can see my screen. Oh yeah, if you can see my screen, that means you need to, if you can see my screen, just log out and log in again. You should be able to see the screen. So the very last part is to create a simple chart. So highlight your data from the region. Please always add the columns because it will be smart enough to pick the columns. And go to the end of the data, United States. I think this is the end. Yeah, cool. And then this item. Go to inserts. Click on inserts. Scroll down to your charts. Once you click on charts, it picks the best chart that suits the data. Awesome. Now we see the trends. We see that some countries, when it comes to EV charging points, we see that some countries are growing exponential, while some other countries are growing linear. We can use this informed decisions to make any business decisions we want to make for our organization. Now we've seen a country growing like really exponential. Let's click on this. Yeah, obviously it's China. So China is going up with EV charging points. The next country is Europe. Yeah, Europe is higher than EU24 because it's like an addition of UK. You have EU 24. Fine. Then the next country is, what's this country flattening up? Korea. Yeah, Korea is higher, but it's now kind of flattening down. Followed by United States. Yeah, with this, you can make decisions based on your EV charging ports. Okay, I think I'm done with the analysis. I'll be handing over to, oh, before we hand over, any question? Oh yeah, what's your question?
I have a question.
Yeah,
Hi,
what's the question?
Please, yes, I have a question. Please, could you quickly show me how you assign those values to the table? I don't know which one to add to the filter because I couldn't get my values on the table.
Okay, what will you get when you try to, um, let me delete this, can't delete it, let me delete this. Okay, you're talking about this, your pivot table. Well,
Yes,
but
yes.
were you able to,
Before we
did
got
you
this,
see this
before,
item?
yes, yeah,
Did you see
yeah.
these
That was
items?
when I couldn't see the screen. Yes, I could see them now.
No, I'm talking about in your pivot table. Can you see these items in your pivot table?
Yes, yes, I could see them.
So take over here, you can add let me remove the values. Over here, click on add think region, yeah, add region here.
Yeah, yeah.
Did you see the countries when you added region?
Yes.
Awesome. So go to values, add
Okay.
value.
Okay.
Are you seeing
Yeah.
this? Are you seeing these numbers?
Yes.
Okay, fine. Now in the column section, you can add year.
Yeah. Okay.
Awesome. And then in
Okay.
the filter section, we're not done. So in the filter section, I'm sure if you do that without the filter, you see 2025 to 2035. Once you
Yeah.
remove these projections, so you go to the filter section, click on add, and then you can add category, and you see show all items, but we want to show historical items. So we can click on the arrow underneath it and select only the historical item. So you uncheck the other items and press OK.
Okay.
All right, cool. So once you've gotten this data, you transpose, or I'll show you the other one. You can move your column to your rows and move your rows to your column. And then there's no need to transpose anymore. You can highlight your data the way it is, removing the grand total. When you're visualizing, always remove the grand total or the total, or it's just queue your data. And
Okay.
then you click on the inserts, charts, tada, line chart, the same line charts. All right, David, you have your hands up. Okay, any other question?
I have a question. How do you
Okay.
bring back the pivot table editor if you closed it?
Oh yeah, just double click on. Let me close mine. This is the pivot table. You've closed your pivot table. Just double click on the pivot table. I'm sorry. Oh yeah, another thing, if you double click on pivot table, it's going to take you to this detail sheet. Remove it. Not necessary. Heads up. Fine. If you come here, double click on this section. Sorry, edit. Click on this edit here. Fine. So if you
Okay.
have this thing off, you have it off, go click on the edit button. It's going to break up this session. Yeah, fine.
And on the
Any other?
transpose option, I did what you said, but it didn't work. Just copy the table and then paste special and transpose, right?
No, don't paste special. Copy the
Okay.
data, and let's just copy this simple data. Come over here, right click. When you right click, go to paste special here, and then transpose. Do
Yeah,
not
that's what I did,
paste.
but it didn't work.
So what did
It
you get
still
when you
pasted the
transpose?
same data. It
Give me the
didn't
same
change
thing.
it.
I think you have to make sure you don't copy the totals, the
Even if
column
you copy
total and the row
yeah, even if you
total.
copy, even if you copy the total, it will transpose plus the total, but it should transpose the data.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I tried it several times. So I'll just use the other option then. Thank you.
Okay. Well, all right. All right,
Oh,
that's fine.
can you hear me?
Yeah, David, but faintly.
How about now?
Yeah, better. Yeah.
Yeah, so the first question I have was the transpose. I think I followed
Okay.
you when you copied the columns for the rows and the rows for the columns when you switched it at the pivot
Yeah.
side. Okay. So was
Yeah.
there a manual way of doing the transpose?
Yeah, that's the manual. That's the manual way I showed you. So you copy the data you want to transpose. Control C. When you copy, go to any cell you want to transpose to. Right click, go to paste special, and then click on transpose. It will transpose the data for you.
Yeah, that I get. You see, before this, you clicked on region at the right side where pivot table editor is, and you put the parameter here, the column for rows, and then the rows here
For
for
column. Yeah.
column. Was that another way of doing the transpose?
Yes. This is a way of manually transposing in pivot table. So it
All
works with
right.
pivot table, but you would need to learn transpose if you're dealing with data like this, because there's no way you can switch your column to rows and rows to columns here.
Oh,
So
okay.
if you're analyzing data that is not in the pivot table where you can easily switch,
Mm-hmm.
you would need to learn transpose.
Yeah, so that's what happened. I did it twice. I did a manual one and I did the transpose as well. So
Oh,
that was
okay, okay.
going to a mess. But I missed one part where you did a historical something. I didn't do that thing, so I want you to do it one more time for me.
That's featuring. So I'm trying. I want to pick only historical data. I don't want to pick projection because I want to analyze only the historical data. So what I did was to add category in the filter and then click on the select all items and select only the historical data. So just uncheck the rest, having only historical data selected and press OK. Is that okay? Well, I think now your hand is still up.
Sorry about that.
Okay, okay. Busayo, you have a question?
Yeah, a bit lost in the course of the exercise, but I later tried to catch up. Sorry, after the whole analyzing the pivots, how do you put in the graph? I think I missed that part.
Okay, yeah, just select your data. That's quite easy. So select your data, exclude the total, and definitely exclude this other item because you try to pick this item as the role is analyzing and they're just two. So I want to visualize these data. So select the data you're visualizing. Yeah, I'm trying to avoid picking grand total. Yeah. So once you've selected all the data you want to visualize, go to insert and click on chart. Once you click on chart, it's going to give you a chart like this. So with this, you can get whatever data or whatever format you want. Let's go over here. It's in the line chart. You can, sorry, setup. It's in the line chart, but you can choose any chart format that suits the data. But I think line chart does the work here for me. So we also have a map. You can do this, but visualization, we'll do more of the visualization with Courtney using Power BI. So this is just like a simple introduction that you can visualize basic data with your Excel. All right, that worked, Bishayo.
Okay, I think it does, and maybe it's time for just a short break.
Oh yeah.
It's been well, David described it as an emotional roller coaster earlier, so I'm sure a lot of us are trying to catch up and just having all this info, trying to process it. So I think we have 5 minutes. Please, at least in the next minute, just grab a bottle of water, take some water, rejuvenate, and then for us, we'll also try to play a game. Well, not a game, just I'll just share my screen and then we can do something I hope is fun within the next 5 minutes. Okay. Okay. Yes, so just a quick check-in on how we're all feeling. I just want to know how, the mood is right now. If you've been following, are you frustrated yet or are you happy? So what we're gonna do is in the next slide, I will show a map and I would want each person to pick your favorite location. It could be your dream honeymoon location, it could be your vacation location, and just draw your mood on the map. can they annotate? So if you on your screen, let me know if you can see the annotate icon on your screen. Oh, great. Okay. So I could see someone already attempt to draw. Anyone? Okay, you can see the map, but can you annotate? So on Zoom, you should either see the annotate icon. Okay, lovely. I need you to draw your mood. So it could be an emoji or okay. Let's see how creative we are and how our drawing skills are right now. And I'm going to take a picture of this and hopefully be able to send it across to everyone so we see how well we did on this. Yes, finally seeing some drawings on Africa. Everyone is going to the US, there's Mongolia. Lovely. I see Tanzania. Yep, that I haven't been there yet, but Zanzibar is calling me someday soon. So I see some people draw and then it is erased. Are you intentionally erasing it or I need to fix something?
Wait, Antarctica is missing.
Oh, is it?
Oh yeah.
So, okay, so you can indicate, you can maybe write or type, no, yeah, just write Antarctica where it is located. Some people are in the Indian Ocean, others in the Pacific Ocean. Oh, okay, that's where Antarctica is here. Okay. So I mean with this we can see we're generating data, right? We can see we already have the data for the countries most people prefer as their favorite locations. We can see or we can have an idea of the numbers. So say Canada, 1, USA, I see a couple of drawings, so am I safe to assume like 5? There's a question why. Who typed why? I mean, feel free to
It's a net, and I'm like, why is anybody going there? Why
yeah.
why Antarctica?
Solomon, why Antarctica? Wait, it was Solomon, right, who chose Antarctica? Okay, anyway, so I am going to pick, ooh, yeah, just randomly. Philippa, I see you drawing so heartily on the US. Can you unmute and tell us why the US is your favorite location?
Hi.
Hi.
Okay. So, I feel like the US Like it's well known to be a country of opportunities. Plus, to be quite sincere, my favorite basketball team is this. So yeah,
Oh,
that's so much season. You
okay.
yeah.
Okay. Nice. Okay. That's great. Thanks. Jinika. I hope I got the pronunciation right. Can you unmute and let us know why? Wait, are you at Malaysia or you're in Somalia? What is your favorite location and why? Are you able to unmute, Janika? Nope. Okay, that's
I'm
fine. Okay, yeah.
searching for Germany. I wanted to write on Germany, but I can't find it.
You cannot find Germany. Let's help Janika
I
find
find it.
Germany. Germany is you know where the UK is. You can
Yes,
you see
UK is just
so
above
yeah, Germany.
Africa.
Pardon?
Okay, yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah, you seen it. Okay, great, great. So why Germany?
Well, I'm trying to learn German, and then going to Germany will make it quite easier for me.
Right. Okay. 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 All right. Sure. Okay, one more person. Steven, someone has defaced your drawing. Where did you, what was your location, your favorite location? Are you able to unmute Steven? Ooh. Okay. We have we want to get back in the next, well, uh in the next 1 minute, so I will take a picture of this. Let me see. Let me just take a screenshot of this and I'll let you explain why you want to um swim or live with penguins in Antarctica to anyone else who you meet and um sees this illustration. And personally, I see Japan and I totally agree. Japan is a great one of my favorite locations. Um, why though? Hmm. I guess I just like the history with Japan and also they're really a very disciplined country. So I was thinking, oh, maybe I'd go live in Japan for 1 year, get some more discipline in my life, come back a changed person. So let's see how that goes. All right, great. So thank you everyone for joining in. Like I said, I will try to share this. Hopefully I can. Yeah, I should be able to. Yeah, I'll paste it in the chat. Where? Wow, Annette. Where in Japan? Well, I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is Tokyo. So at least start with the capital and then maybe move to more rural areas. Okay, great. So I will let's get back to eloquent data, Courtney.
Okay, thank you so much. This was a nice exercise.
Great.
Oh,
And you chose Germany, right?
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, welcome back from the icebreaker. I think we all needed it. So, data visualization. Yeah, this is the session that we are on right now. I think this is the stage in the data analysis process where you get to use like visual elements such as charts, graphs, maps, and other visualizations to provide an accessible way to see and understand trends, outliers, and even patterns in your data. I think we saw that a little bit of it with the Excel that Solomon was showing. Solomon, the next slide, please. Yes, so this is it. When you get your raw data, you process it, that's you clean it, you transform it, and then you make your charts just so the stakeholders or people who are supposed to receive the reports are able to visualize it and understand trends and patterns. Yeah. So there are different types of visualization tools, just as there are different types of cleaning tools, like you did with Solomon. There are other tools that can help you after you've cleaned your data, you can visualize them. So these type of tools that can help you achieve visualizations or charts are, there's Python, Solomon, the next. Yeah, so you can, there's Power BI. Let's start with Power BI first. We'll come back to Power BI. We'll delve into Power BI more. There's Locus Studio. So Locus Studio is by Google. You can create dashboards, beautiful visualizations for people to understand trends in the data. There's Python. So Python is a programming language. I think you saw it when Solomon was talking about cleaning data. There's Python. Python has libraries that can help you visualize your data, such as Matplotlib, Seaborn, and Plotly. These are just a few of the libraries that you can use in data visualization with Python, right? So let's now delve into Power BI. So Power BI is a business analytics tool, which was developed by Microsoft to allow its users to visualize data, share insights, and make data-driven decisions. So I would take you through a practical session on how to use Power BI. We've spent a lot of time, and so unfortunately, this is going to be a little faster. So let's delve into the interface, the Power BI interface. I'm going to share my screen right now. Please give me a minute. Yes. Just give me a moment. Let me search for my Power BI. So just locate your Power BI. Just go to your search button and just click Power BI. Let me share. Yes. Okay. So it's loading up. Screen share has stopped. Oh, okay, sure. Please, can you see my screen? Oh, it stopped. Okay, let me share it
Yeah,
again.
we can.
Yeah, it stopped. Let me share it again, please. Can you see it now?
Yeah.
Okay, sure. So this is Power BI. This is like these are like quick links that you can use. But let's navigate to the homepage. Yeah. So this is the homepage. This is how it looks like. Let me cancel this for now. So Power BI may affect your audio. Try closing some applications. Okay. So generally, Power BI is designed similarly to PowerPoint, Excel, Word Office, and all the Microsoft products that you guys know of. So at the top here, you can see there are like some ribbons, right? They're called ribbons because they are also like quick links, quick clicks to do stuff, right? So we're just going to go over the interface or how Power BI look like and quickly. So this gets data helps you to get data. It does exactly what it says, get data. So you can bring in data from a different source with get data. Another important thing to take care of, to notice, is the transform data. So transform data is similar to what the Google Sheet was doing, helps you to clean your data. But I think Solomon did about, 80% of the work, because visualization it's normally very easy after you are done with cleaning your data. So with the data we're going to use is what Solomon was using. So it's like it has already been transformed, so we would not use this. But essentially, when you hit on the transformed data, what it does is it opens another window for you to be able to make some cleaning if you haven't done that already. Then there's these two buttons that I want to talk about. So new visualization and text box. So new visualization allows you to bring in stuff like images and other visualizations into your report. We'll learn what a report is very soon. Then there's a text box. Text box is, it helps you to bring in text. That's basically what it does. Here you can share your report when you're done. So this interface that we are on currently is called the report view. You can see it from here. It's called report view, right? It's where your report would be. This is this is the screen that when you share your report with someone, or you publish it to the cloud, whoever is the end user is going to see. They are going to just interact with this view called the report view. Then there's a table view. So table view, if I bring in my table or my data, I'll be able to preview it here, because sometimes you just quickly want to go back and look at the data again, exactly what the data is saying, and then you come back, right? So you can just quickly go preview and come back. Then there is this one called the model view. Model view is useful when you have a lot of data sets. So if you have loaded different data sets, sometimes it's kind of it makes some connections to those data sets, because those data sets maybe might have similar tables. So these are like, it's just a quick way to view if the data sets, there's a connection between the data sets that you're working with. I think currently we just have one data set. This one's for more like advanced stuff, so we would not look at that. Let's come back to our report view. So on our report view, there are 3 pans. I remember I don't know, you guys remember when you were dealing with Google Sheets, you had a certain pan here that said pivot table editor or something. Yeah, so it's similar. It's similar to this one. There are 3 pans. There's this one, there's the filter, there's the visualization pan, and then there's the data pan. Okay, so filter, we will make use of filter. It's similar to what we had in Google Sheets. You will see that very soon. And also, when you share your reports to people, sometimes if they want to filter based on a certain country or certain metrics, this filter pan accompanies your report, so that whoever is using, the end user, can use that functionality to filter. Then this is the visualization pan. It's where you are able to click to bring in visualization into your report. So you can bring a pie chart, any of the charts that you want to make use of. You would see the use of these values this session very soon. Data, the data pan is where our data normally stays. So if I load the data, you would see it over there with the columns, the column, what's it called? The headings. Yeah, you see them over there. So let's go in and get our data. We can use these quick links, or we can go to get data, but I think we should use these quick links. We are not importing from Excel, SQL. We are using data from another source. So I just click on data from another source. My data set is a CSV file. So I click on CSV and I say connect. And I'm going to load the data that Solomon is using. So I downloaded it from Sheets. So I think you can also download it if you want to follow along. But like I said, we're going to be really fast. Power BI is it's intuitive. It's similar to what Solomon did, just a little different. So we're going to be fast. Time it's not on our side. So they just give you a quick preview and give you a chance. If you want to transform again, you can transform. If not, you go ahead and you load. So we're going to go ahead and load. the data. It's loading, so it's going to take a while. Yeah, maybe apply changes. Discard. Okay, let's just. So you see that the data is loading on this side as well. Yes, so this is our data. It's showing here global EV data 2024. When we click on the arrow to print, click on the arrow, we can see.
Courtney, I think Ori's hands, she has her hands up.
Oh, okay. Sorry, Oreo. You can talk because I have my full screen. I can't really see the conversations and stuff. Please talk. Hi, Oreo.
The hands is down now, so you can proceed.
Okay, okay. Thank you, Solomon. Yes. So we have the what's it called? The columns, yes, categories, mode, parameters. I think you met those columns when Solomon was dealing with the data back then. Awesome. So now that we have the data in. So when we looked at the data previously, we found out that there's some EV sales. So Solomon did with the charging points, sorry. So I will be dealing with sales data, analyzing the sales data of the EV, that is electric vehicles. Solomon already also did a lot of cleaning to the data. I did some extra cleaning. So what I did was, I think for the, is it category? No, it's not category. Region, yes, for region. There was rest of the world. I took rest of the world out. There was EU 217. I took that one, 27. I took that one as well. I think I also did not include Europe. So I wanted to work with just the countries, right? So the questions that I'm asking myself as I'm creating this visualization is, which country was a lot of these electric vehicles sold in, right? So I'm going to analyze that. Does anyone have a question, please? Am I talking too fast? Okay. So we're going to analyze which of the countries that we have, or which of the regions that we have had a lot of EV sales. Okay, thank you. So I think a bar chart would do for me. So I'm going to click on a bar chart. So as soon as I click on the visualization, which is the bar chart, you can see it here on my report view. You can drag it anywhere you want to drag it. So let it be here. And you see that these things open up, the value session. So it's similar to the one you saw in Google Sheet, right? So for my y-axis, I think I'll put my countries or the regions on my y-axis. So it's just dragging and dropping them, right? And then for, something first. I want to filter first. So I'm going to make use of the filter. Because I'm dealing with EV sales, I'm going to ignore all the other parameters, right? So I'm going to bring my parameter in here, and I am going to just check EV sales, because that's the only thing that I want to deal with, right? So for my y-axis, come back again, I put regions for my y-axis. And for my x-axis, I put in values. Yeah, so please let me enlarge this. So you can also enlarge this. Yes. So from this, we can see that China had the most EV sales. So there were a lot of electric vehicles sold in China. Also, one thing I did was I removed the projected, what's it called? When you go to category, there was projected historical. So I just kept it to just historical data. So from 2010 to what's it called? 2013, right? So I'm just working with historical data. So I cleaned that one up also. I removed anything projected, right? So this is the data that I'm working with. China has the most EV sales. So maybe you want to explain this graph better because there are a lot of other countries. You can see that you can actually like move it down to visualize the other values for the other countries. So you can bring in a text box. So this one, this text box right here, you can click on it. And then now you can write your report, right? So this is for a stakeholder or someone at the other end to be able to understand this visualization or further explanation to this visualization. So you can say that from 2010 to 2013, maybe China has had, oh, sorry. China had the most EV sales, maybe compared to the US, right? Okay. Kindly go over the filtering again before the X and Y axis. Okay, definitely. So I'm going to get rid of this visualization. You can just, so you can click outside so that you don't select it. But if you click and you select it, there are these three options here for you to remove if you have to. So you remove the visualization. I'll keep the text here because it's the same thing I'm going to repeat, right? So I bring in my bar chart again, right? This is my bar chart. Then so you have to know what you want to do with your data, right? So I want to analyze sales data, right? So because it is sales data, I know where to find my EV sales data. I know when I go to parameters, I have EV sales data, I have charging points, I have all other parameters that I'm working with, but I just want to work with EV sales. So I will filter based on just EV sales. So my parameter column is the one that has what I want to visualize my data based on, right? So I drag it to the filter section or the filter part, and then I just check just EV sales. So just work with just EV sales. If you have to work with electricity demand, charging points, EV stocks, and all of that, you need to check all those boxes. But currently I'm just checking EV sales, right? And then for my y-axis, it's just a region. And then for my x-axis, it's the value column, right? So basically that's just awesome. So unfortunately, I have to do one last question. So the question that what I'm going to work on right now is which of the EV types? So now we know the country that had that sold the most EVs or electric vehicles, right? So which of these EV types were sold the most? That would be my last analysis, unfortunately. So I want to check.
Please, my hand is up.
You said?
Yeah, I want to ask a question.
Yes, please go ahead.
So once I put the filters, the parameters at the filters section.
Yes.
As soon as I do that, I don't find the X and Y axis anymore. Like it changes to values.
It changes to values.
Yeah, like what you have right now.
Oh.
So let's say I click and drag parameters.
Oh, so yes. So highlight the graph. Click on the graph. Make sure it has this gray thing around it.
Okay. Yeah.
Found it?
Yeah, I found it. So I'm following.
Okay, sure. Thank you. Okay. So unfortunately, I have to do just one other question. So the question I want to visualize or what I want to know is which of the EV types because when we check our data, we see mode, right? Mode, I think at mode, we can see that there are buses, there are cars, there are vans. So you can go here and let's visualize it from here, the table view. So at mode, you can see they have cars, they have vans, they have, so there are different types of EVs, right? So I want to know, let's go back to the report. I want to know which type of EV was sold the most. So I come in here, I will use a pie chart to visualize that. So I click on the pie chart. Awesome. Then I will do the same filtering again because I just want the sales data, not the charging point. So I bring my parameters and then I say EV sales, right? Just EV sales. Now, my legend is going to be the mode. That is what I want to look at. And then my values would be values. Yes. So just like that, you're able to see that there are a lot more cars that were sold, or cars were sold the most as compared to trucks or vans. Oops, sorry. Yes, sorry. Oops, yes. So as compared to vans, buses, trucks, cars were sold the most. So you can go ahead and the same thing, bring in your text, and you're like, cars were sold the most. Yeah. Sorry.
Not
Yeah.
to cut you, I've been wanting to ask a question. I missed
Yes.
what you put on the X and Y axis. So can you help me
Oh,
with
okay. So, okay, sure, please.
that? Then you can
My
take this
X
one
and Y
again.
axis, I just put my regions. So you can do it the other way around. I mean, you can put your regions on your X. I was just thinking that because there are a lot of countries, let me put it on the Y. So you can you can choose to put it on the X, but it's countries against value. So value was like what's it called? If you read the data, value is the numbers associated with the sales, right?
Yeah. So the next step, how to generate the round graph, the round chart.
The pie chart.
Yeah, this one.
Okay, so you click outside. Just make sure your thing is not highlighted. You click outside. You click outside the sorry. Okay, I have my text boxes everywhere. But yeah, you click outside.
Yeah.
And then now you can come back to visualization. Do you see visualization here? You bring in your pie chart.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The round icon.
Yes, you bring in your pie chart and then. So this is visualization with Power BI. It is not difficult. And also hi.
Yeah, there's one question.
I have a question.
Yes.
How do you bring in the text box that you typed in?
Okay, so the text box, you can find it here. It said add a text box to your report.
I'm not seeing your mouse.
You're not seeing yours, the mouse.
I'm not seeing your mouse. Yeah, I don't see where you are.
Okay, so the
Okay,
top there, the
okay,
ribbon.
okay,
Yeah,
got
yeah, the ribbon. Okay.
Okay, so after generating the round chart, it's
Mhm.
asking for legend values details.
Yes, so the legend, I was actually I was visualizing this, sorry. So I was visualizing this data. Oh, okay. I don't know. I went to click on something else. Okay, so I was visualizing this data because what I had in mind with creating this visualization was I wanted to see the different types of EVs that were sold, right? So my legend obviously is my mood because that's where you can find the data for the different types of EVs. And then Sorry, let me click on that again. Yes, so my legend was my mode, and then my value was the sum of values. So if you see the data, there's a column called values. But this time around in Power BI, the system has already like summed everything up for you to use.
Okay, I've got it now.
Okay. So this is simple, I think visualization. So it can get complex, but this is just to introduce you to Power BI and what it can do. So you can save your report as well. Just do Control S, and yeah, you can name it. So we can name it EV, I don't know, Global EV Data Report.
One question: did you remove the world from your chart?
Yes, I did. It's from my data. I cleaned it further.
Oh, okay.
But you can also have it here. So you can see it here as well. It might or might not affect your results like I have here.
It has affected my results.
It did. Okay. So I don't know if you remember Solomon's chart that we visualized. There were a lot of charging points in China as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this actually makes sense because China is selling a lot of EV cars, right? So it just makes sense that they have a lot of charging points. Do you get it?
Okay, but the question was, we removed world when we use Google Sheets. We truncated worlds from Google Sheets, but now you're using Power BI. So how are we going to get rid of worlds using only Power BI?
Yeah, so you can use transform data here. So when you're loading your data, they even give you another chance to transform the data again. But you can click on transform data and do that. It will open another window for you to be able to edit. Okay, so this is simple visualization.
I have a question. I'm sorry. Sorry for
that's
interrupting.
fine. That's fine.
They give you generic titles. So how do you edit that title? The title of the chart you created, like sum of value by region.
Yes. That's a good question. I did not even look at it. I think I might have to. I didn't even look at that.
Oh, click on
Solomon.
it. Sorry. Yeah, click on
Yeah,
yeah, just click on it. I think there is legends. No, don't need to right click. Go to the legends here. Try to edit it.
Oh. I
Okay,
think
add data. Okay, no, data field.
Yes, I don't think it's given me that. Oh, okay. I think some of values. I don't know. Okay, maybe we might have to look for that. And please, who asked the question?
Athena.
Athena, okay. All of you might want to know the answer as well. So as part of the, what's it called? As part of sending the slides and the recording, we might have to answer that question. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so I think that's it. I would hand over for Solomon to finish with the bonus track, which is the AI track.
Wait, this hire still has his hands raised up. Sorry, do you have a question?
Yeah, sorry. When you're trying to clean data on this Power BI, how do you like what we do on the Google Sheets? How do you remove the fraction number, like the 0.0? Do you get my point? The values are less than 0.
Yes. Please give me a moment. A moment. Okay, so for me, mostly what I do, okay, it's not able to edit. Maybe, I'm not able to edit. So
I'm sorry,
so
mommy. Can you mute?
Because just one bedroom self-contained.
Mommy, A4. Yeah, thank you.
so I think for what I would do, if I'm actually using Power BI desktop. I know there should be a paid version. I don't know if there are limitations in this one, but I think the safer way would be to clean it elsewhere and bring it in here. But yeah, I think there's a way you should be able to edit. I don't know why mine is not giving me that asset.
Okay, so um, Courtney, one
Manage.
question.
Yes,
I clicked transform data. I
yes,
think it's yeah. So it opened the table for me. Now I
yes,
can
the
see
window.
the CSV. Yeah. But I'm trying to get rid of the world file, but I don't see any option to do that. If you can help me.
Um,
Or maybe we can try it together so everybody can.
yes, so I'm starting to believe I actually didn't edit my stuff here. I'm starting to believe that it might not be as easy to transform the data here, and also maybe might be missing some functionalities. I know you can easily remove like columns and rows by using these functionalities here, but as to having the capability to really work with your data, that one I have not explored that yet, because I mostly like to bring in data that I have already cleaned. So,
Yeah.
or data that I've already cleaned, yeah, using Google Sheet or Excel or something of
Yeah.
that sort.
So let me jump in. So
Okay.
Power BI is quite robust, and yeah, you can do data transformation. There, there are even ways you can add your Python scripts to your data, and then it's going to clear off your data for you automatically. It's actually way more robust than the Excel sheets. But those will be like for advanced class. We can't teach everything in this short time. And because we're going way above time, Courtney may have to end here. But before she ends, Courtney, to change the title, let's just fix that other problem. You just need to highlight this session here. Click on the charts and then click on this part here. Yeah. So with that, you can see X, Y, Z. Go to general, general, general. Yeah, there's the title here. So with this, you can change the title. So you can rename the chats. If you have any other question, can you just post the question in the chat? We are almost an hour ahead of over the time. So let's just quickly run the AI. So every other question, please post it in the chat. We'll pick it up from there.
Oh, sorry, Solomon, you can
Yeah.
take over. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Courtney. Okay. Let me quickly share my screen. Hope you can see my screen. Yeah, the feedback session. If you please scan this QR code or enter this number to give feedback about the program. Would love to hear your feedback. Okay. So back to the last session, which is artificial intelligence. So I'm sure or in fact, if not everybody, at least most of us have heard of the term artificial intelligence or AI. So it is the ability to develop a computer system to perform tasks that will require human intelligence, or that would normally require human intelligence. So in summary, just mimicking human cognitive ability using training a model using data to mimic human cognitive ability. And there's some applications of AI. We apply AI in voice recognition, facial detection. That's like you detecting someone's face. In fact, you can even take it to a higher level to know that this is a person based on the person's face. We have image recognition. It's slightly different from facial face detection. This you identifying an object. If you see a car, you know it's a car. You see a dog, you know it's a dog. We've heard of self-driving cars, Tesla, and then we have some large language model that uses that is being trained with billions of data like GPT. So these are natural language models. They're able to understand human languages like speaking, typing, and based on that, generate an output or response. So we have the text format with ChatGPT, and we have some other generative graphical formats like Midjourney and Leonardo AI. So in the course of the program, we'll jump straight into the practical session, and we'll be dealing with ChatGPT and Leonardo AI. So for ChatGPT, we'll still be analyzing this the data. So let me take this down. So the AI session it's last because we can actually skip the other steps, but it's not really ideal. But you can ask AI to give you insights based on your data, and it will generate insights based on the data. And that can improve your work process. But you should also take in mind that AI hallucinates a lot. So it may generate outputs that doesn't really match the data you're giving it. So always take the output of every generative AI with a pinch of salt. Always go through your model or go through the response and make sure that it matches what you're doing, or simply just do the analysis yourself. So this is the ChatGPT interface. So to access the OpenAI interface, I've already logged in. You just have to go to, I think, chatgpt.openai.com. Yeah, chat.openai.com. It's going to take you to the login page. You just sign up or login. Once you sign up or login, it takes to your dashboard. And here in the dashboard, in your left side, you have history of every question you've asked it, or every analysis, or every question you've asked it and it's answered. You have a list of all the questions here. And here, this is the chat interface where you ask it questions and it will give you answer based on those questions. But we want to do a little tricky thing. We want to add an extra data. So we want to upload our CSV file. So the CSV file I'm uploading is the CSV of the charging ports. So this CSV charging points. So I've removed every other data, just picking the charging points. Cool. Click on this and click on upload. Oh, yeah, cool. So this should be the data. Yeah, this is the data. So hit here. It's picking up the data and you type in the prompt. But before I do that, let me show you how to download the data. So this is the data I want to use. Go to File over here and click on Download. You see download as Excel. This if you want to preserve every sheet, you can download that Excel. You can download as PDF, or you can download as CSV. It's always advisable if you're dealing with data, either download as CSV or download as Excel. So we download as CSV. The problem with CSV, it only downloads the sheet that is active. So if I go download as CSV, it will download only the sheet. If you want to download every other sheet, I have to download all of them as CSV or at once as Excel sheets. So that's how I got my data downloaded to my system. Now back here. Now this is prompt engineering. So you have to know how to phrase the question you're giving to your large language model, your AI. So it can give you the optimal response. If you give the generic question, it will give you a generic response. So I want to
Hi,
transfer the question. Hi, Ore.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yes, can you minimize your browser so that we can see the lower bit? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah,
Okay, you
if
can
you
see the chat
minimize
GPT.
your browser, we can see where you are typing. We can see ChatGPT, the interface, but anything lower from where you're writing the prompt is a bit hard to see.
Okay. Is it better like this?
Much better.
All right, cool. So I was saying prompt engineering is you structuring the text you're giving your AI so I can get a better answer, a better response. So we want it to we've done the analysis already. We want it to generate a blog post for us based on this data. So we can give it a prompt like this: as a seasoned writer. Yeah, we need to remove the end, but don't worry. ChatGPT will understand. With more than 10 years experience in the energy sector, write a blog posts about EV charging, no, about the trend in EV charging points based on the attached data. Yeah, cool. So I didn't correct this error because I know the model will understand what I'm trying to write. It's smart enough. And I've given it a premise that it should take himself or itself as a seasoned writer with experience in the energy sector. Then should create a blog post. So let's see what it's going to generate for us. First and foremost, it's analyzing the data. Awesome. Oh, it's even able to group the countries into other regions. Cool. And then let's take it further. Let's ask you to add chats to the posts. Let's say blog posts. Let's see if it can generate charts. Oh, this is perfect. So it's showing charts based on the publicly available fast charger and publicly available slow charger. And then the charts based on the growth of EV charging points. Oh yeah, similar to what we showed. This is China, this is Europe, this is Korea, this is America. So now we've gotten a comprehensive post based on the data we've analyzed, and we can publish this post. Definitely, this is not my domain, but if you're expressing the field, you can go through this and make sure it's well accurate, make some few adjustments, and then you can publish. And another thing, you can give ChatGPT, you can write a draft of the post you want, and that's my favorite approach. Create a flow of the post you want, give it to ChatGPT and tell it it should make it better. And then it's going to improve on what you've given it already, not just building something from scratch. So with that, you have less hallucination. Now let's say we've gotten this post. This is nice, but I want us to have a very compelling graphics to more like a landing, the first graphic or landing page for the chat. So I want to do something. I want ChatGPT to create a prompt for that. I will tell it create a okay, no. Remember prompt engineering as um as a as an expert in prompt engineering. So I'm using AI to generate very good prompt engineering. Create a prompt for Leonardo AI that will generate a compelling intro graphics for the blog posts. Done. So awesome. Nice, 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 nice. Color this in. So Leonardo doesn't really understand. Okay, maybe he doesn't know what Leonardo is. Create. Okay, cool. Awesome. So create a visually compelling intro graphics for this. The graphics should display the element to include. I think he doesn't really understand how Leonardo works. Make it a paragraph because I'm not sure Leonardo works with bullet points. It works more with paragraph. Awesome. Perfect. So we're going to use this prompt on another AI. So the visualization, or let me say the generative AI will be used to create this blog post is called Leonardo. It's somewhat free. You have daily 150 credits. So if you go to Leonardo AI, you see a launch app section. Once you click on the launch app, it will take you to either you sign up or you sign in. I've already signed in. So if I click on the launch app, It's going to take me to my dashboard. Yeah, over here, it's to show you the list of other people's creative work. So you can go and check out other creative work. So this is work that people have done with Leonardo. So you can see photo, very real work. So these are called hyper-realistic artwork, or you can see cartoon formats. You can even create a marble clay design of yourself, or more cartoonish formats. You can create the blog post, the car. In fact, you're only limited by what you can think in your mind. Once you can type it, the AI will be able to generate it or something close to it. Um, if you want to create a design, you need to focus on the left side of your panel. So this panel. First and foremost, do you all have access to Leonardo? Maybe sign up may take a while. Or if you signed up already and you signed in, please a thumbs up. Okay, awesome. Oh yeah. So sign in once you've got to this page. You can also check your personal feeds. So these are like designs you've created yourself. So it's away from the general. So that's some of the designs that I have created. And just like the text model, the graphical model can hallucinate also. So if you check some of these diagrams here, you see some form of hallucination, like these fingers are not correct. This person has like 3 hands. So there's still a little bit of hallucination. You just need to know how to frame your your prompts properly so that it will generate something close to reality. And yeah, so this just when we're creating products for a African shoe brand, I was able to create this shoe product. So it's kind of limitless. You just have to think of something and then it generates it for you. So this time we've gotten the prompt from ChatGPT, and let's test how good ChatGPT can help us in our work. So to generate a new prompt, you go to down here in the image creation section, click on it. While it's loading, I'm going over here to copy ChatGPT. Awesome. Nice. Copy, copy, and over here. Yeah, it's slow. Place this and paste. So this is what I want to create. Yeah, before I create, I'll take you through this other side. So we have some presets. So presets are like the models you'll be using. So for logos, it allows you to use these, and conceptual arts, you can use these. For what you're creating, um, should we make it more like a stock image, stock photography concepts? I don't know if this is free, but I could give it a try because some models are not free. So we use stock photography. So I think with stock photography, to take it very close to human-like. Yeah, this you actually can't make it quality because you're not premium yet. Contrasts, because it's a photography stuff, you can set your contrast. I'll fix the contrast as medium, just leave it at default. Then you can also set dimension. It's a blog post. I want a more of a longer dimension. Yeah, the size, you can adjust the size because you are not on a free version. And unfortunately, you cannot adjust the number because you're not on the free version. So you remember you have about 150 token. The higher number you create, the more token will be used, and you can take it lower. Privacy mode, you can set a privacy mode because anything you generate right now can be posted in the main chat. So anybody can have access to it, which is still fine. And then you can check advanced settings. So yeah, this is the model I was looking for. So you can select the model you want. I'll just go with the default model. Yeah, photo real. Oh yes, this is photo real model. It's premium, so we can't create any photo real stuff, but it's fine. I think we just leave everything as default. I don't know if we should switch to this. But let's leave it. Don't worry, we can regenerate once if it doesn't come out nice. So we've done all our settings, fine. Just click on generate. You've estimated 14 token for it, which is fine. Click on generate and see what it will generate for us. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Last time I generated, it took about 20 something seconds, almost 30 seconds. Let's see if it's going to exceed that. Yeah, still 20 something seconds. Awesome. Now we have different pictures that we can use. And I think I love this. So what you can do now, you can now expand on a picture. Yeah, this or this, both of them work, but I think this kind of sells the message more. Now, can you paste the prompt here for us? Oh yeah, sure. Let me paste the prompt I used here. So this is what I want to use. I'll click on this. This is the image I want to select, and then it should make it better. Oh, so if you select this image, you can select it and then give it more points to use. So you can select this image and tell it to add another car, make the car bigger, make the image smaller. So you can keep modifying that picture. Well, I want to improve on this picture. So use image. So there are ways you can improve on the picture, not canvas. Yes, upscalers. So you can upscale the picture. So I'll click on this to upscale the picture. Oh, I need premium to upscale. That's not nice. It was free before. So this is fine. We can upscale this. Most likely we can generate a motion image. Oh, we can. Awesome. Let's see what will happen if we generate a motion image. We won't need it for the post most likely, but let's see what happens if we generate this. New generation. Why is generating that? I would want to download this image. You click on the download button, and then you have your image. Yeah, it's quite large. Won't be bad. Let's take it here. Let's see the image in full view. Yeah, this is not bad at all. So you can put this at the top of your blog post before you start writing the blog post. Now you've seen AI helping you to create a blog post and also generate the image that you need for the post. This is still taking a lot of time. And while it's loading, any other question? You didn't attach the CSV file. Oh no, for the prompt engineer, the prompt engineer for Leonardo AI, I did not attach the CSV because it doesn't really need to know about the data. It just needs to know what image it needs to create. So I created a prompt from ChatGPT and sent the prompt to Leonardo. Yeah.
Okay, so I have one question. What's the
Okay.
what's the purpose of the blog post? Like, what are you going to use the image for?
Oh yeah, when you're creating a blog post, it's usually ideal to add images to your blog post to make it more compelling. So people relate. Just imagine you have the blog post there without any graph and an image, or you have a blog post with this image at the top. first and foremost, that image will catch, will be like something that will make you want to read the blog post. And then when you're reading the blog post, you see those graphs, and it's not going to be boring. This is be more interactive with images. Oh, the motion is taking a lot of time. I think we can terminate here. It's over like 110, over 2 minutes. If it generates, maybe we could put it as part of the email that will be sent. This is way overboard. We're an hour, 18 minutes overboard. We think we'll be concluding here. Is there any other question? So I'll be handing over to what alternatives can you recommend for Mac user? Oh yeah, that's a problem. If you're a Mac user and you can't download Power BI, there is a Google tool that you can use for visualization. It's called Looker Studio. In fact, we also train people on using the Looker Studio. You can create interactive dashboard using Looker Studio, and it's for free. It was formerly called Data Studio. Let me share the link to the Looker Studio. Yeah, these are some of the dashboards you can create in Looker Studio. And these are some of the dashboards previous students create in Looker Studio. And the thing about Looker Studio, you can easily share as though you're sharing a PowerPoint slides. You can add text, you can add graphs. Yeah, it's very interactive. You can set date, time. Yeah, and you can create multiple pages. Okay. In absence of any other question, I'll pass the mic to Ore.
Yes. Can you guys hear me clearly?
No, Ore,
I don't know
I
whether
think
it's
your
my
network.
network or it's your network. It's like
No,
breaking.
Ore, your network is not really that clear. Okay, I think Ore's network is not too clear. So let's just run the conclusion. We've gone through the whole process of data analysis, and this is in partnership with EnergyzBlack. So if you want to improve your skills and learn more, you can easily access Eloquent Data on the Eloquent Data site. Let me show you how you can do that. So going to eloquentdata.com. eloquentdata.com/academy. You see the list of courses we offer, and then you can select any of these courses you want to learn and you want to go detailed in. And you have the price tag attached to the courses, so you can further your data analysis skill. So in absence of any other questions, yeah, the recording will be available. It's going to be available to everyone after the meeting. I don't know if there's anything that the EnergyzBlack team would like to say before we call it a day.
Yes, just a minute. You already mentioned in the same way, Eloquent Data, you can go on there, get some courses done. Also with EnergyzBlack, like I said, we are also a community dedicated to empowering Black professionals. So if you're interested, just give us a shout out or join via any of follow us via any of our social media handles or visit our website as well. And well, yeah, so this has been the summer data analytics training, and the goal was to train 100, well, energy professionals, but in this case, data professionals. So we hope that you have learned something that will be instrumental in your career or, as a data professional now and in the future. So I guess that's it. Thank you so much for your time. I'm not sure there are any questions. Yeah, so we can close, we can conclude now. Thank you and have a great, well, weekend.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
you.